The Rewatchables is brought to you by the Ringer Podcast Network, where this guy has not been on in a long time, Brian Koppelman. He's very busy. He's making TV shows, movies. What else are you doing? You're doing a bunch of stuff.
You know, I'm just honestly returning your texts. That takes up some time, and it's fun.
You had a Knicks run. You had a big Knicks run. You had to divest yourself from emotionally after they beat my team, but then fell apart next round. You had that?
You know, I didn't anticipate, and I should have. Because, you know what, we did this. You already gave me, you basically told me what I saw you like 2 days before. I was at your house 2 days before the Knicks lost or something, and you were like, just so you know, this is ending now. And I was like, what do you mean? And you're like, it's going to end now. So yeah. I knew.
Well, you'll have Giannis. He'll be fine. We are still doing One Word Movie Month, and this is a movie you and I have talked about for a long time. It's finally happening. 50-year anniversary of this movie coming out, I think 2 months ago. Rollerball is next.
In the not-too-distant future, wars will no longer exist, but there will be Rollerball. Imagine a world without nations.
A few of us making decisions on a global basis.
Controlled by corporations.
No sickness, no needs, and many luxuries.
A society that has abolished love and hate, aggression and individuality, and replaced them with the most fantastic entertainment of all time, televised to 2 billion hypnotized viewers. It is more than a game. It is Rollerball. James Caan, John Houseman, Rollerball. Rated R.
This episode of The Rewatchables is presented by Prime. You listen to this podcast for the movie talk. So let's set the scene. Our lead, tall, dark, stranded at the airport. Hours of delays. He's strolled, and loitered by every overpriced snack stand, but just when all hope seems lost. Plot twist. He remembers he has Prime, and without a whole library of free ebooks ready to read right from his device. Cue the triumphant score. Roll credits. Free eBooks library. It's on Prime. Brian Koppelman, no player is greater than the game itself. The message of Rollerball, which we've now spent a half century unwinding and completely going in the opposite direction, not to mention all the other crazy things about this movie. Unbelievable.
The individual, Bill, is not, the whole point of the game is that the individual is not better or more important and can influence the game.
Disposable athletes. It was the opposite of the player empowerment era. Now we live in a world 50 years after this movie was made where Devin Booker is signing a $150 million 2-year contract extension and Patrick Mahomes is making $500 million. And there's so many fun sports elements to this. This movie's been in my life my entire life, much like with you. I'm sure you can't really even remember a life without Rollerball. Are we going to talk later about when you saw this, or you want to do it now?
No, we can talk about it anytime you want. I mean, this is the thing. This was the first R-rated movie I got my dad to take me to.
Wow.
I was 9 years old, 1975. So, because the commercial, which I'll talk about later, and what is most watchable, most rewatchable. But I remember from the moment the first commercial aired, because James Caan was Sonny. And James Caan was Brian Piccolo. And it was like him. I was a pro wrestling fanatic. And this looked like all those things just lined up. And then you're just sitting there in the movie. It was like a few years later, this other friend's dad took us to see Apocalypse Now, which was a terrible mistake. But this also was like a real holy shit. First R-rated movie in the theater. I would love to tell you that I remember that. You know, the ticket taker looking at my dad like, don't do that. But they didn't. But I just remember holding my dad's hand, going in to see that movie. And my mind was blown by it. How'd you see it first, Bill?
I don't remember the first. Not in the theater. At some point, it was on cable. Probably like a lot of other people just got drawn into the games because there's 3 giant games in this movie. And I don't know which one sucked me in, but over the years just became the most rewatchable movie. And the games are like basically an hour apart. It's the first 10 minutes, and then it's like right around the hour mark, and then the last 15 minutes, obviously. And it's really one of the great first sports movies. If you go through the lineage of it, it's The Longest Yard in 74. It's Rollerball in 75. It's Rocky and Bad News Bears in 76. Slapshot in 77. And we're off. Like we're just ripping off sports movies and classics. And there's at least one good one a year. And this is, an all-time sports movie for me. And an all-time James Caan. I can't wait to talk about. Was he good in this movie? Was he great? Was he spotty? It's all over the place.
But it's also the movie's also a paranoid thriller.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, in the whole parallax view, 3 Days of the Condor, whole world.
This movie. What's so fucking unbelievable to me about the movie it is like parallax view, network. It's a year before Network. And if you think about what the movie's about, it's as much, yes, it's totally a sports movie, but it's also a paranoid thriller in the shadow of fucking Watergate in Vietnam, man.
Right. Well, and the corporations,
yes,
and these shadowy figures are taking over, and they're just going to drum out all the individuality that we have. Listen, there's been a lot of science fiction movies over the years. This universe we go into, there's pieces I like. Like as I was growing up, I'm like, this might not be bad if this is the future. Just get together. There's hot 70s babes everywhere. There's weird parties where we get to set pine trees on fire. And then there's a really violent sport that I could follow. I might be okay.
Yeah, they make a really fascinating choice to show, like they only show these couple classes of people where life doesn't, you can tell that there's in the way that, at first, right, you're a kid watching it and you're like, oh, look at that. He gets his pick of women. And then you realize, well, except the women have they have no say in it. They just get moved around like, not even like chess pieces, like checkers. But then also, he doesn't even get to, he's like, I'd like to keep that one. And they're like, no, an executive wants wants her. And then shoop, sucked out of his house.
It's basically Raya, the dating app Raya, but you don't have choice in who you end up with.
Simmons.
Look, it's trying to say a whole bunch of things, and we can get into all of them. But I think ultimately the reason I love this movie so much is it invents this world, but it invents a sport. It just invents this sport. This sport, it's hockey, it's football, it's roller derby. There's some judo in there. From scratch, the sport doesn't exist. There's no pieces of it. They're just kind of figuring it out on the fly. And the sport becomes so convincing that after this movie came out, the producers and Norman Jewison, the director, got approached to be like, hey, let's do rollerball leagues. And he was like, the fuck are you talking about? The whole point of this is this sport's too violent, and this is where pro sports is going. And we can't have sports like this. But that's how realistic it was.
They use a heavy steel ball that nobody could pick up. I mean, and that kills you if you get hit with it, Yeah. So it would have been tough to make it happen. But of course, as a fucking 10-year-old, I mean, I would.
Yeah, you're like, sure,
let's go, let's watch it, because what's the difference between that and when you're watching pro wrestling? And also, I know you've talked about this before, but I mean, there were 3 channels, and one of them would sometimes have roller derby on.
Right. Well, and then we would get all of those garbage sports on the weekends, the trash sports, Superstars, and there's a million versions of those.
Why couldn't Brian Oldfield have played? He could have played rollerball. Right. He would have been great at it, right?
I really wish producer Craig, who, by the way, a rarity, I don't know if this has ever happened before, he declined his flex category and said, I don't want to weigh in on this film until the end of the movie. So I don't even know what that means. But I wish producer Craig had been there in the 70s as we had all these ridiculous sports that they fed us, because we had 3 networks. We didn't have enough pro sports to go around. Nobody had figured out any sort of scheduling. And we would just battle network stars. Every TV star in the universe was just competing against each other in these weird events. And that was just what we grew up with.
But we watched them so closely, dude. And they were all recorded and cut like probably months in advance.
Oh, yeah.
And now you'd know everything before it happened. You would know when it was happening. Someone would have leaked a piece of it. I mean, I'm sure you watched Unreal, and it's incredible how they're even planning. We're not going to put this on TV, but we know social media will catch this. We were just like suckers sitting at home going, I hope Kyle Rote Jr. is able to beat,
Gabe Kappa would have been like, just beat Bob Conrad in the 100-yard dash, like doing a selfie. Yeah, it would have ruined everything. But
Yeah.
so roller derby was the sport that was on. So was pro wrestling. I remember watching the NASL, and if people are competing, I was probably watching. This seemed like an insanely great version of it.
I mean, I don't even think Craig could picture like what we had to eat when we were watching that. Like pizzas that were like a puck. They weren't even like, right? That had like the pizza on the inside. I mean, we were living like animals, Bill.
Yeah, we had Stouffer's mac and cheese. That was a big one. Or those little Swanson turkey dinners. Yeah, it was just spaghetti and meatballs, whatever we're doing. All right, so I think this movie's set maybe 45 to 50 years in the future. What do you think? They never really say, but it's somewhere like
2018.
2018 is officially?
Yeah.
Okay, because I had that in my notes and I didn't feel 100% on it.
I think so. And I
think you might be right.
I dug out the original. I dug out the short story that it was based on too.
Oh, nice. It
doesn't say 2018, but it gives some context for it. And it feels like it's probably set in that.
Yeah, so that's
world.
like 40 plus years in the future. Free speech discouraged. No more schooling. Now we have conditioning. Just about everybody making meager wages, but poverty is basically gone because everybody makes the same amount. We have, I guess, controlled television. We have weird food situations where there's just like envelopes. I don't even know I guess that's like pre-Postmates. There's no kids anywhere. There's no kid in this entire movie. There's no babies or kids. I know they're having them, but we never see one, right?
Yeah, and you have to get permission to have kids. That's in the story, but you can see in all those futuristic movies like that, it's very right because the resources are scarce and they want to control, and so not everyone gets permission to have kids.
There's no dogs. There's no rescue dogs. Like now, Rollerball would just be like Jonathan E. has 3 dogs.
There's no last names even.
Yeah, true. So anyway, Rollerball emerges, and it symbolizes the futility of individual achievement because people just die. I can't wait to talk about the stats from this later, but just people routinely die. Multiple people die in a game, and yet here's our guy Jonathan E., played by James Caan, who's transcended the game. What is he? He's Brady crossed with Michael Jordan, crossed with Ali. Is that what we're supposed to think? 10 years, just winning every year?
Yeah, Tiger, Jordan, Brady.
He's on that list. Never gets mentioned with the greats, in my opinion.
I think Jonathan, but I would say as a kid that stayed with us also because of everything James Caan brought to it. I mean, you and I have talked about James Caan when we did Misery.
Right, yeah.
But then also when he died, you had me come on the pod and we talked about him on the pod, I think. And so, but when you started already by asking what do you think of the performance? I have a lot of thoughts on it. So, but how does it hit you, man?
I'm going to do my hottest take right now. So this is my CR thinks Luke Wilson could have been Harrison Ford hottest take award. Of all the sports movies, this is my single favorite, great 1 minute, terrible the next minute performance anyone's given. There's entire scenes where he just seems checked out and he's just muttering his words and I have no idea what he's going for. And then there's other scenes where he becomes Sonny Corleone as a rollerball player. He's carrying the mystique and charisma of an A++ list athlete perfectly. And yet I don't really understand what he's doing with he's just kind of muttering his lines like this and seems kind of vaguely drugged out. I don't really understand the performance, but I love it. I really love it.
I love the performance. First of all, I think it's important to know, like, if you think about it, he's the most credible over and over when he did this. He was the most credible athlete, like in a movie when
him and Reynolds. I would say him or Burt Reynolds were the two where I actually felt athletically they could hang in any situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing in The Gambler when he loses the basketball game because, like, you're so used to seeing James Caan win and be amazing at sports.
Yeah.
But it also in this, just the physical condition he came in at to do this movie, he basically has like that V taper. He looks like Roman Gabriel or something like that, the way he's built. And right? I mean, it's amazing how fucking you just don't question, because that's the first, we've talked about this a lot, like in life too. The moment you see an actor throw a ball and they can't really throw the ball, or hit a tennis ball and they can't really hit it, it takes you right out of the movie. And there's not a second of this when he's doing the sports. Right. Also, like the look in his eye when he's playing the sports. And just, the entire like fucking capability. And then I have a slightly different take. I think he's a guy who's been kind of asleep, lulled into sleep by this world that he's been put in.
And that's why he's playing it that way. I think you're right.
Come to life when he's playing the sport, and don't ask questions and don't think about anything. Your houses are delivered to you. Women are delivered to you. Money is delivered. You have to get to the game, and you have to be in game shape. And that's basically all you have to do.
Well, what's your take on the white pill they give them? Because that seems like at least part of like why everybody seems a little zonked out.
Well, the executives take it to dream of being athletes, and the athletes take it to dream of being executives, right? And I know it's like MDMA before MDMA, probably. I think it kind of just makes you float, right? And feel good.
Well, this is like what we talked about after Caan died, like just such an alpha. Just the kind of when we always talk about why don't we have like lead actors anymore? You know, where are they? Or we have pieces of these guys, but not 100% of them. And I think back to Reynolds in Longest Yard, and then in Deliverance, and then Caan in this movie, and him as Sonny Corleone. Nobody pulled off the sleeveless white T-shirt, which we called 50 years ago the wife beater. No longer allowed to say that, but the sleeveless white T-shirt, he looked the best in it. He just had the best shoulders and just always looked like he was about to either bring his Gumar over or go outside and get in a fight in an alley with somebody. He always had it, and he had it in this movie. Just alpha all the time.
It's the shoulders to hip ratio. Nobody else had that. But I think, it's funny. You texted me and you were like, because I don't want to undersell this to people listening who don't know the movie. You texted me and said, it is like the most batshit insane. There's no other movie really that's like this, because it is half a sports movie and half a paranoid thriller. Right. And it's a dystopian...
And it's a science fiction movie.
It's a dystopian science fiction future that's supposed to telegraph what's going to happen in the world. And in the middle of it is the greatest made-up sporting contest ever. And so you have this... I think in the times, people didn't understand it. It's actually... I think it's a great movie, and like not just like super fun movie. Like, I think on reflection, it got so much shit right about whether the play, because the end of the movie does introduce the player empowerment era. The whole point is they're trying to stop the player empowerment era. Yeah. And the human empowerment era of people who are just workers, because it's a worker revolt movie too. And at the end, the whole point is the individual can. And this movie is super fun. You could fucking get stoned and watch it or drunk and watch it, but you could also watch it with like a class of philosophy majors and pencils and pens. That's what's so incredible about it. It kind of can hit you wherever you are.
Yeah. And so usually when a movie like this works, they put so much thought into everything. So I even think about this fake sport they created. There are all these little wrinkles with it that are so fucking cool. Like when the guys are skating around in the pregame warmups and they all have their little gimmick, it's almost like the Warriors in the gang, when each gang has their different gimmick. Like the Tokyo team does this, and then the Houston team, they have like they swerve more, but so you have that. You have like, I really feel like they put thought into like, we're gonna have 6 skaters. There's a guy who scoops the ball up, and then there's 3 guys on motorcycles. And you're going to see the rosters, and the lights are going to go out if somebody got hurt. And there's going to be subs, and it's going to move like a sporting event. And you watch, and you're like, how the fuck did they come up with this? They created a sport.
That's the other thing that's so amazing, the motorcycles. Like when you were a kid, and suddenly there were motorcycles mixing in, and guys getting knocked off their motorcycles. It was like... one of the most, first, it's so fucking dark and brutal, but they show you the bloodlust of the audience, and you get caught up in it when you're in the movie theater. And, I mean, obviously that scene when the specialist coach comes in to tell them about the Tokyo team, and the players don't want to listen. I mean, that is so much like the way you hear about players now not wanting to be coached sometimes, but also totally racist. And the movie's got a ton of that racist shit.
It's mid-70s. It's 50 years ago.
But like that moment when you were a kid in the theater, at home watching the commercials, and when the Tokyo team does that turn that one move toward the center of the floor, you were just like, that, I got to see that. Like anything I have to do to see that. And everyone walked around imitate. I mean, didn't you you just walked around trying to do that thing like that they do when they go low.
All right.
They go low. It's so cool.
Well, it combines so many things we loved as kids, right? Because even you have like the roller derby, all these stupid sports that we were watching nonstop. Then you have the uniforms. Then you have like an easy sport to follow. Where it's like there's only a couple goals in every game, right? So it's like a little like soccer cross. But then it has the violence of football, which is really what I think this movie, I don't know if it's about the violence of football or the violence of sports in general. But now I think 50 years later, UFC is 20 years away from being created.
Yes.
The Power Slap League is 45 years from being created. Football, by the time we get to the late 70s, there's that famous CBS montage of football, the pregame show, and it's just guys getting nailed. It's on YouTube every once in a while. It's like it's the Brett Musburger, and each thing is just a football player getting demolished. And this is what sports was kind of like, but nobody was putting it in any perspective. So I think that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah, well, they're trying to say that the gladiator thing never went away. It's never that far away, right? That will always show up for the gladiators, and we're always trying to find a way to kind of justify, like, blood sport. And we are, right? I watched. I mean, I'm no better. I watched UFC 1. Literally watched UFC 1, 2, and 3. I could tell you what those fights were like. Like we all locked in, and that was the closest thing. It was really close to Rollerball. I'm sure you're going to talk about Norman Jewison, but when you said, oh, they really were careful. I mean, one of the most fascinating director runs because this guy made absolute stone cold classics, and then he missed wide, but was in the end, a really, really important filmmaker. I mean, listen, the guy made Cincinnati Kid, which, as you can imagine, real important to me.
That's 1965.
Yeah. And
he has almost a 4-decade run because he has The Russians Are Coming, In the Heat of the Night, Thomas Crown Affair, and it's like, wow, this guy's doing great. Then he has Fiddler on the Roof and Jesus Christ Superstar back to back. That's weird. Rollerball, Fist, and Justice for All.
It's
and
crazy.
then it just kind of keeps going. Does Moonstruck. He ends with The Hurricane in 1999.
And
I mean,
he gets to have Hurricane as right there toward the end. I mean, I'm wearing my Expos hat as a little salute to Canadian Norman Jewison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Important director.
I think it's fascinating that he thought people would be appalled by the violence in this movie. And then they were like, yo, any interest in starting a rollerball league? and he's like, what's going on? The ending in this movie is one of the better endings in a sports movie with the dead silent crowd. The ball goes in, and then Jonathan like skating faster and faster, and the way they do it. The music, some of the opera stuff they use.
And then the cut to the terrible, ineffective coach suddenly chanting Jonathan with everybody. Yeah, I agree
Jonathan!
with you. That's good, dude. Yeah, it's a really perfect. It is a perfect ending, but it leaves you. Does that ending? Did it always leave you feeling good? Because the ending leaves me feeling not a little bit. I mean, you're so happy that Jonathan lived, but it's not like it's everybody else is dead.
I love the ending, and I'm in on Jonathan. I think he's back for year 11. It's like LeBron. Jonathan, he's doing Instagram things over the summer. Get ready for Rollerball year 11. I'm going to miss all of my teammates because they're all dead. Hopefully I'll have other teammates. Can we talk about the corporate autocracy? So the population is now concentrated in 6 corporate global city-states. Transport, food, communication, housing, luxury, and energy. And Houston's in the energy sector. And Houseman seems like he's the head of all these people. But basically we learned the executive class rules all. All the nations are bankrupt and gone. It's just these 6 places. And then I think each one has a rollerball team, was my take.
I think that's right. That's not, league. I mean, it's not said super clearly, but I think that's right.
So transport, food, communication, housing, luxury, and energy, which one do you think New York was? Because New York's the final team in the movie.
Maybe transportation.
Transportation. Luxury, maybe, because they also said there's a Rome-Pittsburgh game they mentioned. So maybe the league has more than, I don't know. We know of 6 cities. So could Pittsburgh, New York, and Houston have been the 3 American cities? And then we have Madrid, Tokyo.
You know, that's a big online argument,
Rome?
right? That's a big online argument right now is what are the 4 major cities? You know, that's a huge TikTok thing right now. The 4 major New York.
Oh, like
4
a Mount
major
Rushmore
American,
for major cities?
Yeah, people are really arguing about it. So now you can introduce this into it, that maybe there are just 3. Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh, New York, Houston. We've already solved this, guys. And then Los Angeles just gets cut out completely in rollerball, apparently. We have no LA team. Houseman, another guy we grew up with, his eyebrows, I don't know if you got to watch this in a nice big HD TV. His eyebrows are a supporting actor in the movie. It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
I did not. I watched it on TV. Like I watched it on a big TV screen. Again, I've watched it on computer too, but I just watched it on the big screen thing. That moment, Houseman's whole career, he never had a moment like when he enters the thing with the 2 girls. You've never seen Houseman. He's usually like, behind a desk teaching a law class or in a commercial barking at somebody about business. And then here he gets to, in that same corporate thing, but he's entering with just these, these 2 courtesans, because that's what they are in this movie. They're courtesans. Yeah. I thought I'm just picturing him doing the small, like when they said cut, I was thinking about when they said cut, Houseman turning to them and just whatever that conversation.
Hey, ladies.
Yeah, what was that? Because that party is one of the strangest scenes in any movie I've ever seen in my life.
I cannot absolutely wait to talk about it. Houseman, James Mason, it's been disallowed. Like just the distinct voices that we don't have guys like that anymore either. Who's our distinct voice English actor guy in 2025? Do we have one?
I think there are a couple of them. I mean, we did. Yeah, we have a couple of them.
As good as Houseman? Like Houseman calls you and you're trying to convince him to be on your new TV show. And you would just be in awe the entire Zoom of every sentence he said.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess Dame Judi Dench is probably like that person in a way. If you think about it, she has that. It's like from that point of view. And most of the British actors now, they act in American accents so frequently, so it doesn't feel like that, right? They would have had that guy be American now.
How did you feel about the corporatocracy that they lay out now that we're in 2025 and we're being run by a bunch of corporations? It's kind of weird. I mean, literally, we're being run by like 5 corporations.
I mean, literally, there's not one person listening who wants to hear me talk about this.
Okay,
so I'm not
we're going to move on then. James Caan, 1971 Brian song, 72 The Godfather, 74 Freebie and the Bean, 74 The Gambler, 75 Funny Lady with Barbra Streisand, 75 Rollerball. That's all in 5 years. The wheels come off a little bit, I think, for our guy Jimmy. There's some Playboy Mansion.
I was going to say,
it's early cocaine era.
He started really living like Jonathan.
The IMDb gets rocky. There's a brief comeback from 79 to 81 with Chapter 2 and Thief. And then in 82, he's in Bolero with Bo Derek and some movie called Kiss Me Goodbye. Disappears for 5 years, stops acting. And I think when people talk about who was the craziest during the cocaine era, he's always mentioned as a how is he still alive guy. What's interesting about his movie career, he turned down the following movies: French Connection, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Close Encounters, Superman, and Kramer versus Kramer. This guy, after Redford and maybe Newman, was the 3rd call. I think, and maybe Reynolds, maybe it was 3A, 3B.
Jack also, but Jack turned everything down.
Yeah, I think people knew not even to call Jack. Yeah, but he was in that world, though, where he's just, I mean, if he has 2 of those, his 70s are even
But then
elevated.
It's so great because he gets the amazing comeback then, right? He gets his own TV series. Right. He gets Misery. I mean, it all turns around. He does get a great sort of last bunch of years, I think, where he got to be James Caan again, and he got to watch his son become a television star and all that stuff. But yeah, the lost years of him and some, then a bunch of unsavory guys hanging around at the Playboy Mansion trading, getting to hang with James Caan for coke. I agree. It's a tough moment for the guy. It's tough.
Have you and Levine ever kicked the tires on a Playboy Mansion late 70s scripted series or no?
People have, yeah, that's for the next time we see you. That's our one meeting with Oliver Stone. I'll tell you another time.
Okay, that sounds great.
Oliver Stone wanted to make that Hugh Hefner.
It's one of those great ideas that'll never happen. Yeah. One other thing about Rollerball I forgot to mention. Jewison and the production designer, John Box, what a combo. They designed the track. They wanted it to be like a roulette wheel crossed with a pinball machine. And they found this guy, Herbert Sherman, who had previously designed the track at the 72 Munich Olympics. And they came up with that thing, which now, like when you watch the Summer Olympics, they have those velodomes or whatever those are called.
Yeah.
It's a little like that. Same thing where it's like on a slanted whatever.
And it was in Germany, right? They built it in Germany.
Right. And they filmed all the stuff. They made it seem like it was different cities, but it wasn't. It was so realistic. They would play it between takes and on off things, and the stunt people and people just making the movie. They're like, hey, do you want to play a little rollerball for a half hour? Like, it was so much fun to skate around. And that was it.
Today I was listening to a behind the scenes thing that Norman Jewison and a few of these other guys talked on. And one of them, they said that the production designer, and then he was the production designer of Lawrence of Arabia. So that guy had done, truly like incredible shit. And this is the first movie ever that the stunt people were credited on individually.
Right.
And they made sure of it because it was so hard. And James Caan did a lot of his own stunts.
Well, when you watch it and there's no CGI,
yeah,
half of the stunts you're like, man, that looks like that guy got hurt. I don't know how they did it. Half the time their head's just bouncing against the track.
I found this thing this afternoon. I'll send it to you of some behind the scenes footage that shows the ball getting released and where they were all standing. But yeah, they released the ball, obviously. And then, they did all that. There's no CGI. Like a guy had to bend down and pick it up in his glove. They really did that. They really had the motorcycles and they really had the dudes behind the motorcycles. Like they were practical doing all that.
There's no steady cam back then either. So I don't know how they filmed some of the camera stuff because the steady cam didn't come till the year later. That's the other thing with this movie that now it seems like, oh yeah, it makes sense. They did this. In 1975, they weren't making movies like this because you had the football scene, The Longest Yard, which we covered in previous Rewatchables, and you had this, and it was like, there was nothing like this in a movie theater before. It was a little like the French Connection car chase and, these seminal moments in the 70s.
Yeah, you couldn't understand.
I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, you can't understand how the hell, you can't really understand when you're watching it how the hell they shot some of these sequences. Not just the fights, but like when, Moon Pie has that little tough moment. That's just incredible the way that they shot it and the way that they staged it. And you really feel it,
Oh, yeah. Feel it. Yeah, because we did Close Encounters, we've done Jaws, obviously. There were these, how the hell did they do that moment that you had in the theater? Because you just had never seen anything like it. Now I feel like that shit, in 2025, I don't think those exist anymore. And we're just so conditioned to CGI and crazy stuff. I can't remember the last time I sat in the theater. That's what was so cool about F1. When seeing that in the theater, it was like, wow, how'd they do this? How'd they film that crash like that? And then you felt like you were in the race. It was a rare time of having that excitement in theater.
Yeah, have you seen that? That's what's so crazy. Have you seen that moment where Stallone is talking about how he wouldn't consider Michael B. Jordan a real member of the Rocky family?
Oh, Michael B. Jordan told that story on my podcast like 10 years ago.
Have you seen the clip? There's a clip. Yeah. And I guess it wasn't Andrew Tarver, right? It was one of the sparring partners. But I can't even believe 10 years ago that happened. They would not. There's no.
No, they would have CGI'd everything. You mentioned William Harrison wrote Rollerball Murder in September 1973, Esquire. Didn't mention the sport that much, but that's how this all got going. Jewison got excited about it. His goal was to show the sickness and insanity of contact sports and their allure. Mission not accomplished. Football became way bigger right after this movie, not because of the movie. There's a United Artists things I just wanted to mention quickly, the production company that made this. They were bought by a bigger company called Transamerica in 1967. They rolled off In the Heat of the Night, The Graduate, Midnight Cowboy, Last Tango, Cuckoo's Nest, Rocky, Annie Hall, and then in 79, Rocky II, Manhattan, Moonraker, and Black Stallion. But then Heaven's Gate happened, which was immortalized in the final cut. But they were on the cutting edge with some of these movies, including this one. I almost felt like they were a little A24-ish, like taking crazy risks. Like I can't imagine anybody even greenlighting this movie.
Well, this is the 70s movies that people talk about. And once, I'm sure you know this, but he said it on my podcast for the first time. And then I think he's talked about it on the thing he does with Avery. But, Quentin Tarantino is still saving this movie to watch. Of all the 70s movies, this is the one that's like canonical that he's never seen, and he's saving it. And
interesting. Yeah. That's like me and The Big Lebowski. Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, that I don't understand it with him.
I even own it on 4K Blu-ray. I'm just saving it.
Have your kids watched Lebowski?
I'm just saving it for the perfect day, and I'm going to dive into it and get really into it.
Oh yeah, you got to watch it. But same thing, Quentin, for whatever reason, talks about the 70s more than anybody else, right? Written all about. The one he still hasn't watched Rollerball. He's still saving.
So
Rollerball.
Weird because this combines so many different things of movies that he loves.
I know. It's
like
hard
a great alpha star performance, like a weird sport, a weird world, a good director. Most critics were lukewarm on this movie. It was $6 million budget, made $30 million. Vincent Canby, New York Times. Rollerball isn't a satire. It's not funny at all. Not being funny, it becomes instead frivolous. He can fuck off. Gene Siskel, 2 stars. A movie in love with itself. Vapid, pretentious, and arrogant. Raj could not find a review, but he did give this movie 3.5 stars. But the review is not online. James Caan, in 1977, rated all his films and rated Rollerball an 8 out of 10, but said he couldn't do much with the character, was his scouting report on himself. So there you go. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to do most rewatchable scene. This episode is brought to you by Prime. Sure, we're called the Rewatchables, and yeah, we usually rewatch movies obsessively, but every now and then we trade screenplays for eBooks. Some moments just call for it, like when the credits roll and you're still in movie mode, but your watch list is empty. Or when everyone says the original story is better than the movie, and you got to see what the hype's about. Prime gives you access to a whole library of free eBooks, so you can swap the rewatch for a reread or try something new. Free eBooks library. It's on Prime. Most rewatchable scene. The opening, everything. First 10 minutes. The opening credits with the music. We get a little Bach's Toccata. Fugue in D minor. I was practicing those.
I got to give a shout out.
Warm-ups.
I got to give a shout out because one of the most incredible things of my childhood was our friend Peter Zizzo figured out how to play Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor on electric guitar like Eddie Van Halen. So shout out. For real, God. It was incredible. Yep. That's why I know what that is.
We get pregame warm-ups, Houston, Madrid. By the way, we forgot to mention they created the corporate national anthem for this, and it's pretty good.
It's crazy, though. That's a crazy thing, and it's an amazing moment. Yep, agreed.
And then Jonathan has 3 goals. We get to watch what the game is. They do a nice job, some wide shots, close up, and it's like, what? And by 5 minutes, you understand everything. And then we have Jonathan scoring over and over again. And then with Moon Pie. I love this game, Moon Pie. What are your Moon Pie thoughts? Played by John Beck.
The swooper? Moon Pie the swooper?
Moon Pie was the mustache guy. Yeah,
but he's also the swooper, right? Because he's the one who, they call him, his position, it's the only position that's stated in the movie, is swooper. Which is just, because he comes swooping down from the top and knocks the guy off the motorcycle.
Right. He's like, I don't know, is he like a left tackle? What is it?
That's his move, right? His move is
defensive end?
Come, yeah.
I love it.
Then stay close to me. Stay close. You're right. He's got to stay close. Protects Jimmy Caan, and then Caan.
A lot of charisma on Moon Pie. So I got that one. I got Jonathan's lecture to the team when Tuffy decides to make a run at him, and we get to see Caan in a sleeveless white t-shirt. I have the interview with Jonathan and his latest girlfriend with the stats guy when we find out most points in a game was 18. The guy says, I'm a big stats guy. This is 1975. Nobody, like Bill James hadn't even written the baseball abstract yet. So this guy might have inspired Bill James for all we know. Most velocity shot out for the ball was 120 miles an hour. Most deaths, 9.
Caused by, this was for me, if you had a category that was like, the Moneyball category for the greatest stat. I mean, to me, the best sort of war kind of stat was that Jonathan had 9 deaths in a game.
So Jonathan had the record for most injuries caused by one guy, 13.
13, yeah. 13 injuries caused by one guy.
And then most deaths was 9. Rome versus Pittsburgh. What happened in that game? Because they had penalties and they had all the old rules. The Rome-Pittsburgh, obviously a lot of bad blood.
We see that get beat twice.
The crazy futuristic party. I wrote down, it's like Eyes Wide Shut crossed with Ice Storm crossed with The Shining. I don't know what's happening in this party. They're screening Jonathan's special retirement show, but he doesn't actually retire. They have like a prototype for a big ass plasma. It's about as big a TV as you've seen in a 70s movie. People, are they escorts or is it like a call girl party? Is this like a prototype for Heidi Fleiss in the 80s?
I think it's the scene that pulls back. If you're watching that movie and you just are kind of going along thinking, oh, it looks like things are all right. I think that's the scene that really shows you that you're living in one of those futures that is super fucked up and dark and that very few people have any rights at all. And like not in the, I think the point they're trying to make in that really so fucked. First of all, everybody's on these super designer drugs that probably were barely invented, some combination of Quaaludes and Molly. And they're all taking them and passing them around and kind of drifting into this place you described James Caan's performance as being. But each of those women and men are just kind of describing that the women were kind of shuttled to the men, kind of ordered to be with them. And nobody, like you said, there's no kids, but I would say there's no love. It's a world that almost has prescribed love, gotten rid of love. Because like, I think that's part of what you're supposed to feel in that scene. Because if you think about it, even when Jonathan thinks and at first convinced himself he used to be in love, he realizes, no, that's not true either. And I think that's part of what's going on in that scene. And that one shot to the woman is just crying, randomly crying. It's fucking insane. And it is one of the strangest scenes. It goes on forever. And at first you're like, this is going on 4 minutes too long. But by the end of it, you're like, I think they might have earned it. I think it might have been okay. Like, I think they somehow
once we get outside shooting a fire gun at pine trees.
My life, that's incredible! Terrific.
Then it suddenly becomes like this environmental movie, like where you're supposed to understand these people don't give a shit. It's like they say all this, but what's different than the way someone would do that movie now is someone would take a half hour to make a lecture about why these people are bad. What's so great about this movie is it lets you just watch it and decide. Watch the movie.
Yeah.
He's not lecturing at you. You just see a cut to these like naked, wild, beautiful people or whatever. And suddenly they have super weapons, like, a cartoon, like a Men in Black level weapons, like the little tiny, and
yeah, we don't have those now.
No, they don't exist now. And you just flick the thing and then whoosh, trees go up. It's crazy. Totally crazy. I for me, the best scene.
Wait, we're not done yet.
Yeah,
I have a couple more.
Keep going.
But for that futuristic party, I'm adding a special category we don't get to give out very often. The Mallory Rubin Award for did this movie need a better sex scene? Or in this case, did this movie need a sex scene? You've already given me the hard R. It's a rated R in 1975. I just feel like this party could have been a little friskier. Like, who's judging?
Been on the cutting
Norman
room floor.
Jewison. We're not judging you.
It must have been on the cutting room
everyone's
floor.
drinking and they're hanging and it's feeling very Ice Storm Key Party-ish. And then we just all of a sudden we're shooting trees. Yeah, I think we missed out. Couple more. Tokyo versus Houston. No penalties. What a monkey wrench.
They
Can you
can't.
imagine if the NFL is like AFC championship game, no penalties? We would be like, what?
But that's
No penalties.
But that's also the moment that, like, that's the toughest as a I'll just say, screenwriting wise, that's the toughest moment in the movie. Is all John Houseman wants, and he's the most powerful man in the world. Yes, there's these 3 people or 4 people you find out who are above him, but basically he is the acts out the wishes, right? He's the most powerful man in the universe, and all he wants is to get Jonathan to quit playing the game. And the whole movie is about, how do I convince Jonathan to quit? I'll do anything. Jonathan, there's nothing you can't have. And it's like one of those old jokes, nothing. Yeah. And then Jonathan looks at him and goes, okay, but all I need is that I will quit. I'll do everything you want. I won't destabilize the entire world you built by proving the individual is the better. I will quit. All you have to do is put the rules back in the game. And Houseman's like, well, I can't do that. Well, we've already announced it. You see, people can't have babies. The women are ripped out of houses to go to other. You can do anything you want. You don't want to disappoint the fans. It's like Bud Selig calling that game in whatever inning. It's like, you can do anything you want. What inning was that where he just decided you can't keep going?
Yeah, he just stopped. Yeah, the All-Star game.
Like one of the worst moves of the history of sports.
That's a great one. That's a very good weak link for this movie. I had one as well. The Tokyo versus Houston, I mentioned I love the warm-up. This game gets more and more violent, culminating in Jonathan just gets pissed. He starts wreaking havoc, and they knock that one guy down, and he drags the guy over to where the rollerball is getting released, and the thing just nails his head. It's like, oh my God.
That was the moment that 9-year-old me, that very moment was the moment 9-year-old me was like, I might not belong in this movie theater. You know that moment where you're not like 9 or 10, you're watching something that's above your grade? Like above your, like, I just remember that ball hitting that guy's head and killing him like that. And you're just like, Jesus Christ.
That was me at The Shining at age 10 when Scatman Crothers took the axe. I was like, what?
I like it. You're like, I love that guy. Well, that's particularly cruel because he's the most lovable character in the history of cinema. If you made a list of the 10 most lovable characters in the history of cinema, Scatman Crothers in The Shining is like number 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a terrible moment. I agree. Horrible.
He has 2 naked lady paintings on each side of his bedroom and wherever the hell he lives. I love that guy. Well, and then Tokyo versus Houston, we get the moon pie death, which is just an absolute gut punch. It's up there with, for me, I mean, not everyone knows this movie, but for me, it's up there with Goose and Top Gun and like some of the great Sonny getting shot at the toll booth. Like, I just fucking love movies.
All right, I got to be Chris. I got to be Chris and Sean in this moment. No, it's not. It's not in that. It's not in the league of those moments.
I love this movie. Those moments. Oh, it's like they kill Moon Pie. Like, don't kill Moon Pie. I love Moon Pie.
Hilarious.
You're not giving me Goose?
Goose is one of no. I mean, Goose. I could. If you just talked a little bit more about
Goose.
If you talked a little bit more about Goose's death, I could cry right now. At Moon Pie, Moon Pie's a murderer. They're all murderers. All these fucking dudes are murderers, man.
They have no choice. They're in a capitocracy. What's it called?
No, yeah, they are in what cacus. No, it's KAK, right? Yeah, No, you're saying kleptocracy, but no, the other one is the cacistocracy, which is the one where it's the entire thing is just rigged up like that. Yeah.
2 more. Jonathan finally realizes Ella, the lady that he's loved forever, that the whole thing's fraudulent. She's trying to convince him to come back, and he erases her videos that he always watches right in front of her. Good breakup. Maud Adams. Wow. Just looks fantastic.
But also gives you that gives you a hint though that what James Caan is doing in the movie is what was asked of him, because all those scenes, everybody's kind of playing those scenes that way. The only one who doesn't really is in that little world of that stuff. The only one who doesn't is, his former player coach, who's now an executive, the guy he has the meeting with. He's constantly asking him to get him information. But everyone else plays the whole thing like they're just slightly under being awake. They're just not quite awake.
The final game, the last thing, Houston versus New York. There's so many great things about this game. I love when the game's going on, there's no penalties, and it's basically like there's only going to be one person alive at the end of this. And then the coaches are getting mad about cheap shots. It's like, This is a fight to the death where you can't be upset that somebody just got clotheslined. They're not going to call anything. There's no penalties.
Do you have the best quote of the movie category coming up at all? Because
we can put it right here. Game?
Yeah, that's it, right? That's got to be. I mean, that's got to be.
This wasn't meant to be a game ever.
Nobody gonna win this game! Game! This wasn't meant to be a game! Never!
Because it's not a dialogue-heavy film. That's the line. That, to me, that's the number one line in the film. Yeah.
Well, everyone goes down in the first period. One of the great first periods. Terrible game plan. We get some strategy. It's just Jonathan. He's already banged up. Got a guy and then his buddy with the motorcycle, and there's a fire, and they basically Buffalo Bills it. This is like watching Josh Allen against the Chiefs. Like, it's like you have everything. It's 4th and 1. Just get the first down. They overthink it. They do a one at a time thing, and Jonathan just demolishes them.
You think it's like Pete Carroll level?
The Malcolm Butler play. Yeah. You have it. It's 2 against 1. This is a wrap.
Yeah, the thing is, though, that there's a great freeze frame in that when he kills the guy right up against the executives, and one of them, the younger one, has this look on his face that I think is what
just bloodthirsty.
It's just what Norman Jewison was going for. You can imagine he spoke that extra. Like he said to the assistant director, like, "Okay, that guy sitting next to John Houseman is very important. I need that guy to be awesome. Like, we need somebody good in that seat."
That was like my son ringside for UFC when Topuria knocked out the guy in the main event. My son basically had that look on his face. This is too good for probably an answerable question. So I'm putting in here. Is this the number one craziest sporting event you could have gone to? The Houston, New York rollerball finals, no penalties. There's only going to be one. Like, where would you have wanted to sit? Would you have been right on the glass, or would you be a little further back in case a motorcycle guy went in? Like, what would your move have been? Where would you want to sit? Luxury box?
I don't think there's any. I love this question. This is like an amazing You should do a whole podcast on this. This is an incredible question. This is a round table. Get 80 of your good friends, and this is the best.
Yeah,
I can't believe you've never done it. It's amazing.
We've intermittently done pieces of it in Rewatchables.
Because to me, the Mr. T fight, you got to go to Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang is the fight. If you could see anything,
the rematch.
Think about what the buildup would have been to the Clubber Lang rematch. Like with me, just think about what you would have been feeling in the world to go to that fight.
Well, you could do the Drago fight when the Russian crowd turns. I think honestly, Creed Balboa, the second fight,
Rocky 2.
It's pretty good. I was thinking, I remember doing this as a mailbag question a million years ago. I think the natural Roy Hobbs hitting the game, pennant-winning homer, and knocking the lights out, I think would have been
incredible.
Pretty great.
But Clubber Lang, because of what he said about Adrian, and just how much he baited him in. And I think if you were a Rocky fan, which you would have been as a kid, right, and in real life, I think it would have been like Ali Frazier times 10. Like you just...
Well, none of these is the actual answer, because I think we did answer this once. It's the soccer game and victory.
Sure.
It's Pele bicycle kick.
Yeah.
The moral victory of winning, but they call the goal back, and then Stallone stopping the penalty kick, and then everyone escaping. It's a sporting event mixed with the Great Escape. So you go to the game, you're under some sort of rule. You actually get to escape. I think that's the winner.
Okay.
I also would have wanted to be there for Shoot versus Loud and Swain.
100%. I'm obsessed with these. Please, I've referenced
great.
David, and I've referenced that fucking movie and thing, like everything we've ever done. Agreed with you. Couldn't agree more.
Major League, those guys winning. Frank Dux, I think, beating Chung Lee in Bloodsport. I mean, a little darker, but I think it would have been cool to see.
And then you want to see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's fight in the Bruce Lee movie. If you're going there, that would have been pretty amazing.
Yeah, they had no spectators for that.
But
though.
I'm saying, wouldn't it have been great to be able to be there?
Costner, Perfect Game, and For Love of the Game. Yankee Stadium.
You wish the movie was just one notch. You wish the movie was one notch better.
I still don't mind it. Okay. What's the most 1975 thing about this movie?
Sorry, we're really wrong, by the way. Obviously, it's the fight in the gym between Rocky.
The secret third
it's
Creed.
The secret fight between Apollo.
Creed Balboa fight.
I just realized that, right? I mean, that's where you got. I mean, you tell your friends forever. You'd never stop talking about it.
Worst sporting event to go to from a movie? The $1 Million Baby fight.
Wait, what?
Tough.
Oh God, horrible! The worst thing ever. The dad.
Can you imagine being like, let's just go. Let's get in our car.
No, but
what would have been worse than that?
But you know that I'm of the generation. You were too young, but I watched the Boom Boom Man CD2 Kim in real time.
I watched it too. CBS.
I watched it in real time. I swear, like I'm not making it up. Like because
CBS during the day. Yeah, it was awful.
I'll never forget watching it. I'll never forget trying to track because we couldn't. This is another thing nobody can understand. I'm sorry that we're old. I'm old. Like.
You didn't know what happened till the next day.
Couldn't track it till the newspapers.
Yeah.
Like you would watch the news at night and hope they would tell you. And then you had to wait to read the newspaper the next day. And the next day, because it took 2 days, I think, like you had to find that out like 48 hours later.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most 1970 thing about this movie, I'm either going with the 70s babes, just the look of the women in this movie, which is very Charlie's Angels, first season, Three's Company, or that they thought in 1975 that the future would not have cell phones or the internet. Because they kind of had that computer, it's like the cloud basically, which is what we have now, but they just didn't, they felt like it was going to be in water, in some sort of factory in Geneva. And it's like, no, it's actually just going to be in the air. I'm going to be talking to my friend Koppelman right now on Wi-Fi.
I think it's that they let an actor hit a heavy bag with just his bare. Nobody would they let an actor who's not in a boxing movie hit a heavy bag with nothing on his hand. Like everything we know now, if you saw a friend of yours hitting a heavy bag, like we all but without something, that's
a great one. You know what? That's a great answer. I love it. What's aged the best? The conceit of rollerball as a sport. John Houseman as a villain with his crazy eyebrows. He's got his crystal thinking lair where he goes in does Levine have that? Where you go to see Levine, he's just surrounded by crystals in an all white room. In general, like how white and light everything is feels futuristic and fun to me. The huge TVs I mentioned earlier, that's about as big of a TV as I've seen in a movie. Here's one. Any moment in a movie where our hero is about to kill the last guy and does the thing where he holds the rock or the knife up and then decides, and they cut to the guy on the bottom, like like the Bad Boys, Sean Penn, S.I. Morales cut, but the guy doesn't kill him. It's just a winner. It wins every time.
Oh, what a movie you just referenced.
Thank you.
The best. The exploding boombox. Come on. The exploding boombox in that movie. One of the great things ever. Yeah.
The 70s tracksuits that they're wearing, like I feel like those should come back.
I'd wear them. I'd wear them tomorrow.
I'm going to tell Craig to get one. We mentioned the white pills everyone took and whether this foreshadowed the mushrooms, Molly era that we're in now. We never see kids. We never see a downtown. We never see a restaurant. Even when they go downtown in Houston, it's just this amorphous like buildings. And I think this was just how they were able to shoot the future back then. But it also shaped my view of what the future was when I was a little kid. Did you have that? Where movies and TV shaped what you thought in your head the future was? And for me, it's just
of course.
Light and buildings and kind of emptiness.
Yeah, it was all that stuff at the Jetsons.
Right, and flying cars.
That's what we thought, flying cars.
Oh, here's one. Bartholomew, Houseman's character. And Jonathan. Parallels to Goodell and Brady in the Seattle Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl. When they're trying to get Brady and he won anyway. Came back. Malcolm Butler wins it. Jonathan.
No, I mean, look,
Jonathan.
I was going to say, and honestly, Craig, you can cut this out. But I mean, no, for me, the future is presaged because when John Houseman says to those guys, and it's great because you got to be paying attention, but he says, listen, we've decided nothing special is going to happen to Jonathan. They make the decision. They're not going to kill Jonathan. They're going to let the game take its course. And I was like, that must have been the conversation that Skipper and Iger had about you.
Oh my God. You can leave that in.
We're not going to let anything.
I didn't know that's where you were going.
Yeah, we're not going to let anything special. Nothing special is going to happen to Bill. We'll just let it take its own course. He'll take himself out soon enough. We don't have to take him. That's amazing.
Oh man, I didn't know you were going there. The 70s babes in this movie: Maude Adams, Pamela Hensley, and Barbara Trentham, the big three. So, tell me if you agree with this for What's Age the Best. Jewison said the movie could be taken as a metaphor for the creative artist struggling against the corporate mediocrity of Hollywood and the executive groupthink therein. Thoughts?
Sure. I think so much of it aged. I think what's so incredible is I love when you read the reviews and even Siskel. Like, I think what aged the best, and it's always the thing, like the movie fucking aged the best. The movie's so good, and despite what maybe Craig's going to say at the end, the movie's so good that as a whole, and it makes total sense to me that it wasn't in its time. It was kind of a modest hit, as you said. You said it did 30 on 6, but I don't think people understood that it was actually trying to do that stuff. It was actually trying to make someone think about something, and it got so much right. And honestly, the energy. Okay, so I'm not gonna again the politics. No one wants me. I'm not gonna talk about this, but David Foster Wallace making the years named after corporations and shit and people. The year of Venus Williams. This movie did all this stuff. There's no doubt that all those writers who became the huge writers in the 90s, they grew up watching movies like this, and it influenced the way that they thought about the world. And you just feel it. So I think the movie is what really lasted a long time.
Book censorship and history getting erased, sadly, is Age the Best. When he's watching the old Maude Adams DVDs, the music that's playing where it's like, nah, 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 it's so good.
Great call. I wouldn't have thought about that. It's a great call. Yes.
The violence of football of the next 50 years. And then the last one, Dick Enberg calling a game has always aged the best. Just great to hear his voice.
Amazing.
Really miss that guy.
Amazing. And I think that, I guess we can talk about the computer. We got to give a little bit to that whole computer scene, but we can do that in the, unfortunately, it's terrible because you named that award after Teddy KGB, but we got to do that, the actor being in his own thing. Cause
that's a compliment though.
Oh yeah, but I don't want to ever reference my own thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
stop. Don't be a jerk.
But I'll say Ralph Richardson, that guy, Sir Ralph Richardson, he's this legendary the first actor to be knighted in England is that guy. Laurence Olivier got knighted second after this fucking guy. And it's true, one was 1946, the other was 47. And because that guy is in his own movie. And it's a great movie, the movie he's in. He makes James Caan totally different.
He's in a Bond comedy.
He is in a totally different. He's on a talk show with Orson Welles. What is he? He's in Citizen Kane. What is he doing? And he's it's his own. You could tell that guy was in a room. He's knows he's going to be. He's playing a guy who spends a lot of time alone. Right. And just as an act, thinking about what that guy did as an actor, he built layers and layers and layers. And then it's totally wrong for them. It's amazing. It's just amazing to me. Perfection.
I agree with you. Great Shot Gordo Awards. So many options for most cinematic shot. I really like when Jonathan scores that one goal against Tokyo, and then the fans behind him through the window are yelling, and he just bangs the thing.
Bangs the thing with contempt.
It just feels 70s hockey. You mentioned Moon Pie's coma. The coma shot when they lift the helmet up. I think that's the best shot in the movie.
I think it's the one you mentioned. But I think it's the one you mentioned before, the ball hitting the guy.
Okay.
I think the ball hitting the guy is because you just feel it. It really is so effective because it stays with you for 50 years, dude.
Kid Cudi, Pursuit of Happiness Award, Best Needle Drop. The ending when the music kicks back in again. It's just great.
Yeah, you're like someone's been watching some Stanley Kubrick for Norman Jewison,
Chess Rockwell, Brock Landers Award, Best Character Name. Moon Pie is pretty great. I need to bring that back. And then Butch's Girlfriend Award for the weak link of the film. You mentioned yours. Here's mine. I just think the corporation either kills Jonathan or just kidnaps him to keep him out of the final game. I don't think they go through this whole rigmarole trying to, we don't want you to play. Oh, now we're going to change the rules to try to kill you. Like, how about just killing him?
No, they're worried about
what happened with Jonathan? Oh, Jonathan had a tragic accident on a horse. He's dead.
But they're worried about Martin. See, this is the thing. Why the whole thing about the individual is they don't want to make him into a martyr. So they can't.
How would people know? He just died. They control the news. It's like sad news. Jonathan's dead.
All right.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I love that guy.
All right. I can't argue with that.
Just feels like an easier way to do it than to rig the game with no rules and, you know.
I mean, the other weak link is sending a terrible, in the context of the thing, like I'm not saying the woman who played her was a terrible actress, but the one girlfriend, the blonde.
The blonde.
I mean, they're just, first of all, it's like the whole beginning of the Sharon Stone Schwarzenegger thing, where she comes in there and he realizes she's turned. She practically is going to wheel and kick him like Sharon Stone did in Total Recall. But that was pretty weak, that scene. And then when he almost, Jonathan almost really hurts her.
I have that in What's Age the Worst,
that's
which we're about to do.
Not a great moment.
Yeah, that's in the What's Age the Worst. Longest Yard had a random domestic violence scene too. I just think it's the 70s. I can't explain it. We mentioned the Super System memory pool, which now is just a cloud. The Tokyo team, there's some pretty apparent racist stuff with that. This is what 32 years after World War II. Could still feel some of that.
In the 70s was still.
Some of that bad stuff. We're still doing that stuff.
Very rough and racist.
The CTE issues with Rollerball, I was thinking would probably
hilarious.
Probably not great. Like an outside the lines, the Rollerball guys 20 years later, they're
you don't want
like,
Bob Lee looking at this.
Yeah, Bob Lee's like,
you
wow.
do not want Bob Lee looking at this thing, 100%.
But the number one What's Age the Worst is that they remade this movie in 2002. It's one of the worst movies ever. I wrote about it for Page Two. I think it was one of my better early Page Two pieces. I skewered it. It's really awful. John McTiernan made it, weirdly, which...
He made so many good movies.
It's really, really one of the worst. To me, it's like Bad News Bears Go to Japan, the Rollerball remake. It's on a short list of the worst ones we've ever had.
Among the worst... I watched 30 seconds of it, maybe 40 seconds of it, and never watched more than that. Shut it off. Wouldn't go to the theater because why do that? Why?
Well, it also violates the rule of why are you remaking a movie that is still exceedingly awesomely real? It was 27 years after they made the original. We're going to take one more break and then we're going to do a couple more categories. The Ruffalo Hannum Grubenek Partridge Overacting Award. So it sounds like you're leaning toward the coach on this, but can I offer you Jonathan's ex-girlfriend shooting the fire gun with that crazy look on her face?
I mean, look, I think maybe nobody knew who they were. They spent a lot of time on the stunts, and maybe I bet you that Norman Jewison, great director, like I said. I mean, that guy made some really unbelievably important, great movies. But my guess is that so much of his time was spent on making sure the gameplay was right, that there wasn't a lot of energy in terms of making sure the performances were locked, and that's hard. It's really hard.
Do you have a flex category or we already did it?
I think my flex category would have been the KGB actor thing because that guy is so good. I think that guy's in his own movie, but I think he's great. Like, I think he's just in his own movie.
Okay. And do you have a CR thinks Luke Wilson would have been Harrison Ford Hottest Take Award or no? Because if you don't, we can move on.
I mean, the hottest take would just literally be that, I have such a hot take that I think it will get me. I think this movie is
It's the whole point of the category.
I think this movie's better than Parallax View. I think it's more accurate. I think it more accurately makes you feel what a paranoid thriller is supposed to make you feel because there's nothing else like it. Parallax View is like a million different things. And this movie, there's nothing else like it. And it tackles, none of us are going to be in a situation where we're thought to have shot the thing and they're pinning a giant murder on it. But all of us watch sports. All of us interact with these corporations. All of us have felt that feeling that the game was rigged and we don't quite know why, or what was really going on in that game. We'll never really learn what really happened. And this movie makes you feel all that shit. And so I think Rollerball, and I think it's
like LJ's 4-point play.
And that was
who ordered that?
The second Knicks dig. I was at the game and it was so great. Just perfect moment.
Continuation, pal.
We still haven't won a champion. I don't know if you noticed, but we still haven't won a championship since I was 7.
It's been a while. At least the team's good again. I couldn't find any casting what ifs. The Best That Guy award. So Moses Gunn plays Cleet, and Moses Gunn, who was in Shaft, but had a nice run in the 70s where he'd be like in streets of San Francisco, and he just was around. He was one of those guys. So shout out to him.
But to me, Moon Pie, because I didn't realize that Moon Pie I forgot that he's the same guy who did all those episodes of Dallas.
Yeah, I couldn't. He might be John Beck. I mean, for Craig, he's Moon Pie. And Craig, we still don't know if Craig liked this movie, but
he was in 60,
yeah, you're right.
60 episodes of Dallas somehow.
I know. Dion Waiters, I think it's Maude Adams coming in hot.
Yeah,
coming in.
No argument.
Maude, we just need you to shoot for 2 days. We're just going to shoot you laughing and looking really hot. And then we need you to do like 3 lines with James Caan.
But a special shout out. I think you got to give a special shout out to the thankless. It's like I wish that the most thankless role, the guy who has to come in, the Japanese guy I think because it's the Tokyo team, has to come in there and he's just get interrupted. All he wants to do is share the science with them. And it must be like having a meeting with, Robert Kennedy. And like he just wants to tell them about the science and they don't want to, you know what I mean? They don't want to hear about the science.
Recasting Couch Director City. Can I offer you Gene Hackman as the Houston coach? We just go up a level with Gene.
And then, he gets a lot of more dialogue. Nobody else could have played John. Who else could have played Jonathan?
Burt Reynolds. And I think James Caan's a better choice.
Because James Caan was smarter. Like on screen, he read as smart. You think he's smarter?
I think Burt could have done the athleticism and the swagger hero stuff. He probably would have enjoyed getting physical with the ladies, having love scenes.
Could Redford have done it?
No.
Not good enough, like not credible athletically, like as a violent athlete.
I don't think he's got that dark, the snapping side. Warren Beatty would have been interesting. I don't know if he would have done it, but I think athletically, I think he could have done it.
That's a good call. He's credible and Heaven Can Wait. You believe he can throw a football?
He could. I think he was a good athlete. Yeah. All right. Craig's flex category is here, but he's passing. Craig, just a mystery man for this pod. Half Fast Earned Research. You mentioned they shot everything in Munich. A bunch of opera in this movie. If you want to go check out the different songs, some of it's online. Rollerball, the video game, which I waited for most of my video game playing life, and it finally was supposed to happen in 1998. Got delayed, and then the publisher went bankrupt. I don't understand why we didn't have a Rollerball video game. I think it would have been amazing, and maybe there's still time. Nobody died during the filming any of the stunts, but we did have some major injuries. And then Devo saw this movie and ended up writing the Devo corporate anthem for their 1979 album.
Bill, somebody at Rockstar Games there should be a moment in GTA. And if it delays GTA by another 2 years, who's going to care? But there should be a moment where you should walk into an arena.
Get to play Rollerball?
In Grand Theft Auto, you should walk into an arena and get to play Rollerball. Think about it. That's the most logical thing. It could be in GT the next year. It could be in the one that comes out right the month before I die. That's when they could, you know what I mean? For 30 years from now, they'll get that one in.
Apex Mountain. James Caan. It's right around here for him because Godfather's been a couple years. He's in a movie with Barbara Streisand the same year when she's probably the biggest female lead. I think it's right around here. The Gambler had just come out. He's making a bunch of movies and the wheels haven't come off yet. So I would say maybe yes.
Okay.
Plus this movie did well.
Can't argue.
Fake created sports in a sports movie. I'm also going to say yes. Unless you want to go dodgeball.
No, this is it.
Dick Enberg, no. Dick Enberg in a movie, also no, because he's better in Heaven Can Wait because you can see him. Maude Adams, she was in Tattoo with Bruce Dern, which I think I might have seen when I was a teenager and don't remember that much of, but it's probably this. She's a huge model, though. This was the era where the 70s, they would just grab a famous model and just throw them in a movie. Norman Jewison, no. It's probably In the Heat of the Night.
I mean, Cincinnati Kid, Hurricane. You got to say Moonstruck because the Oscars and stuff. It's got to be Moonstruck.
But I mean, that Poitier movie
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That
Oh
kinda
no, great
crushed.
movie. Not of course. But later, I always think that the guy later in the, I always think like, yes, but I always think a guy then had this happen when it comes back and it's Moonstruck, like,
Yeah.
and everyone's celebrating this guy.
But that's a career highlight. I'm talking more like when did he have the most juice?
Oh yeah, okay, sure.
Probably late 60s.
Sure, yes.
Houston as a sports city. Would you go here or would you go Hakeem Rockets? The Jonathan E. era?
Dan Pastorini and Earl Campbell.
Well, that's like right after Jonathan E. John Beck, it's clearly 60 episodes of Dallas. John Houseman, no. Probably Paper Chase.
It's got to be.
Setting Pine Trees on Fire, 100%. And then just roller skating. Roller skating, maybe. Did we ever do better in a roller skating movie?
No. This is the coolest it ever looked for sure.
All right, most important part of the podcast for you: Cruise or Hanks for the lead?
It's Cruise and a walk. It's not even close.
This would have been an amazing Cruise movie.
No, but Hanks, if he wanted to do the dark turn, could play the Houseman role. He'd be amazing because you believe that he cared about Jonathan.
Or how about young Hanks as Moon Pie, like 19 Bosom Buddies Hanks?
He was
tall,
never,
gawky, skinny Hanks.
He was never the enforcer.
No, it's definitely Cruise. Scorsese or Spielberg?
I mean, that says Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, I had that as well. What role would Philip Seymour Hoffman have played?
Oh, this is great.
Probably younger Houseman. He's in the corporatocracy.
Yeah, but would this have been one of those? There's not really that showy, young Philip Seymour Hoffman, like, in Hard Eight. There's not like that flashy little moment where a guy comes in like that in this movie.
I don't know if there's a role for PSH in this. Picky nits. So I had some questions about the rollerball penalties before they got rid of penalties. Karate kicking the motorcycle guys seems bad. That's 3 minutes. Headlock punch, okay. Headlock punch with the spike punch to the helmet seems fine. Motorcycle guy knocking the other motorcycle guy from behind, like spinning him out, seems legal.
I looked this up. This was my internet research. I looked it up. I looked up what rules penalties. So the violence. And you're right. You're so on this. You're completely on it. These penalties only existed. So all those things, you could do them all as long as it was in the course of the gameplay.
Oh, that's what they said?
Yeah. When I looked it
sounds
up.
like Jewison came up with that at the 11th hour.
Yes.
They're like, yo, what's the difference in these penalties? Like, course of gameplay.
Course of the gameplay. So that if while, like, let's say right after Jonathan scores and you're resetting, the ball hasn't shot out yet, you went and spike punched a guy in the head,
penalty.
Then that's a penalty. But if you spike punch a guy when he's about to score, we're good. I think that's never said in the movie, and you're 100% right.
Yeah, I needed a little more. It's almost you needed the announcer to come in and like, as always, 3 minutes for that. I just would have eaten it up. All right. So we have gambling in 1975. We know it exists because they're putting the spreads out. We've had football players. There's been gambling scandals. It just felt like an incredible missed opportunity not to talk about lines at all during this movie. And then it sent me down a rabbit hole thinking like, who was favored in the last game? They would like FanDuel would have had last man standing bets. And I think Jonathan would probably have been the favorite, but it would have been like 2-1. So
it would have been like those Tiger, it would have been like those Tiger years where you could bet the field for a certain number.
Jonathan versus the field. Yeah. I would have just banged Jonathan, but then you could also make the case like they're just going to do everything they can to take him out.
I think
first.
There was no
like
betting lines. Dude, there's no betting lines because no one had any money. The money was only the executives. No one had money.
But there was probably like a stealth poker game with the executives and maybe they had a bookie. I don't know. There's a lot of gambling stuff that should have existed in this. You had any pick and nits or did we cover everything?
No, we covered them.
Okay. Sequel, prequel, Prestige TV, all black cast or untouchable. Can we make the Prestige TV case? It's been 50 years. I think that's fair game. And I do feel like there's some cool scripted series in here that I think would take added significance in the mid 2020s.
They're making, I'm sure you know this because it was announced and stuff. They're making You know the William Gibson novel Neuromancer? They're making that into a series. That's that incredible futuristic thing. If that works, whoever does that show could then just come right in here and do this.
I think the problem is the Rollerball remake was so bad that I think it scared everyone off the IP. But let's bring it back. Is this movie better with Wayne Jenkins, Danny Trejo, Doris Burke, Sam Jackson, Nell, Byron Mayo, Tony Romo, Chris Collinsworth, Daniel Plainview, Longlegs, or Wilford Brimley in The Firm? Do you have? You can also throw in anyone else you want in this category.
You know, you bring up Enberg a couple times, but I just kept thinking how fun it would have been to just cut to Norm Macdonald talking about this game.
We should throw Norm in the category.
Yeah, Norm belongs in the category. He really does. Because imagine Norm talking about when moon pie, like the thing you just did about, when can you hit the moon pie in the head with the spikes? I mean, I just think that's a little bit, I just think it would have been incredible. Like Norm would be just top for me.
Too much individualism. Yes. I think they would have just killed Norm. So I'm adding John Cazale to the movie.
Oh.
Because of the Sunny ties, but especially after when Jonathan says no to Mr. Bartholomew at the party and he comes back out, and then Cazale could come over and go, Johnny, you don't talk to a guy like Mr. Bartholomew like that.
Awesome.
And then they do the don't go against the family.
But he could also be, his character from The Conversation just fits right in.
Yeah, it's right in the time, it's in the Cazale. It's in the time frame, 75.
Now
right
you're talking, because imagine if instead of Maude Adams, then I agree. What if it's Meryl walking into that room? 1975 Meryl.
Get both of them.
Imagine how much better is that, Meryl?
Like her first movie.
Yeah, right after Annie, like 75 Meryl, right before that. Yeah.
Just one Oscar, who gets it?
Production design.
Yeah, I would have said stunts. Is stunts an Oscar? It is, right?
Now they're giving stunts awards and things, but they didn't for years.
Yeah, production design's good. Probably unanswerable questions. This one might be answerable. Jonathan E.'s last name, I think it was Evans, because at the Eyes Wide Shut party, one guy says to the other guy, Evans is out. And I wonder if that means it's Jonathan Evans was his name.
What are others? I have one unanswerable question.
If Rollerball just keeps going over the next 50 years, how would advanced stats have changed Rollerball? Would people have thought, like the 3-point shot, like people firing from far away, it's a heavy ball, but could there have been like a Steph Curry that comes in who's like, this guy's like throwing it from basically the bottom of the track. He's completely changed Rollerball.
They would probably add up, because the thing is, because there were very limited substitutions, if you killed somebody, it's kind of as beneficial to the team as your team as scoring a goal.
So the advanced stat would be more maiming and murder.
It would be murder plus points. It would be like points plus death, right? Because plus, mauling someone so they're off the floor, I think.
So you think the Moneyball move, like Jonah Hill comes in and he's like, I've been looking at the motorcycle and it's just the complete inefficiency. We're spending too much time getting the motorcycle guys. And what we really need, what was John Beck's role? What was his thing?
Swooper.
A swooper?
The swooper.
Yeah. The swooper is actually the most important position in Rollerball. And we got to go all in and try to find better swoopers.
So sick. I think, for sure. Then there's this so my unanswerable question is, there are two references in it that maybe they're robots. Like in the
androids thing at the eyes. Yeah, that they might all be androids.
And one says, they're all made in Detroit, and the other says they're robots. You hear these two lines, and they're not. But you wonder if it's like the replicant thing. Like, are they replicants, or is it possible? Because now I didn't remember this. I listened to some wacky podcast today, and I wish I would credit them. There's some guy who did some like deep dive into the meanings of Rollerball. It's crazy. I'll send it to you. I found it like 2 hours ago. But the one thing is, he was talking about this possibility of them being robots, and seemed to have some credible argument for that. Had to do with when Jonathan is talking to Sir, the computer guy. I did not pick this up. This guy in this podcast did. I can't take any credit. But he says that when he's talking to him, the guy says, I've seen you so many times before. You've come so many times. And the guy was like, because Jonathan doesn't know. because John's a fucking robot. And every time he gets destroyed, they rebuild him back. And then he comes to the point where he has this question at the end of his life cycle. I have no idea if it's true, but I love it as a theory.
Well, how would that explain Moon Pie being in a coma, being kept alive with no vital signs?
That is a flaw in the theory. You've poked a great hole in it. Yeah. Oh, to prove to the players. Oh, you know why? So the players believe it. The player doesn't know he's a robot.
My other unanswerable, do you think the Dolan family own the New York Rollerball team?
That's the best. Yeah, I hope so. Because then I hope they go 0 and whatever.
We don't get to give this that often. The Zuantne Award for what happened the next day. So Jonathan survives. I think we're probably forming a rollerball players union. There's probably Donald Fear or whoever. Somebody's coming in and being like, we gotta get these guys some benefits. Maybe some rules in place that you can't just wipe out the rules before the semifinals. Does the sport exist? Was that the last rollerball game ever?
I think Jonathan maybe takes the whole society down.
That's it. It's just complete chaos.
I think so.
Yeah. The easiest answer ever for what piece of memorabilia would you want or not want from this movie? I mean, it would have to be the jersey, right? The number 6 orange jersey. Like, what would be a better thing?
That plus a glove.
And the gloves?
And one of the motorcycles wouldn't be bad.
Like a banged up
imagine in your
rollerball?
garage. Imagine if in your garage you had a rollerball
banged up
motorcycle. That'd be, I mean, come on. Pretty great.
The Coach Finstock Award for Best Life Lesson. Corporate society is an inevitability. A quote from John Houseman.
Amazing.
Let's go with that. What's your double feature choice?
Some Bruce Lee movie. Enter the Dragon.
Interesting. Why?
Because of the era. Like, just because I associate it with a time in, like, my life, basically. Otherwise, it's Network. So I wrote down earlier, Network's the other one that makes the most sense because one's about media, one's about sports and entertainment. Like, so Network on the highbrow, it's Network. And on the less highbrow, I think it's Enter the Dragon. What's yours?
I like your paranoid movie thing. I think that was fun. I would have said Longest Yard just because, like, those are the first 2 great sports movies. But I do like the idea of doing like 3 Days of the Condor or something. And just
is Brian's Song in your mind not a great sports movie?
It is. It's a TV movie, though.
Okay, so it doesn't count.
I've seen it 20 times.
No, I know, but I'm saying it doesn't count for that reason for you.
I still think that's Caan's best performance in any movie. I should have done that as my hottest cake. He's unbelievable as Brian Piccolo.
Yeah, of course he is. He's incredible. That movie's, I mean, again, it's for dudes. I mean, that movie's just the best.
Yeah, it's really old. It's 55 years old. Who won the movie? James Caan?
Of course.
All right, it's time. Producer Craig coming in. He's been dead silent. I'm nervous.
I'm excited that Brian has no idea which way I'm going, and he even thought that perhaps I was going the negative route. I am not. I can't believe this movie was just sitting here, and no one told me about it. What the hell? I had heard of Rollerball. I think it's a weird title, and perhaps I had no idea what the movie was about. I was transfixed by this movie. This is a dystopian science fiction movie disguised as a sports movie.
Yes.
I think it should be considered like one of the greats. This should be shown in film schools. There is so much going on. There's so much there.
You're correct.
It's basically gladiators fighting for public entertainment. It's like, maybe it's a little heavy-handed. It's so weird. Jewison's making so many weird decisions. It's aged incredibly. I think the tree burning is like fascinating. I think this desperately I'm usually not this guy, but I think this desperately needs to be a television show. Like Tony Gilroy turned Andor, like a Star Wars story about turned that into like a political story about fascism and imperialism or whatever. Get him Rollerball next. Like I want something at that level for Rollerball.
Tony would crush it. Tony would do an incredible job with this. Yep.
I thought this movie was unbelievable.
Wow. I'm so excited. I was so worried that he didn't like it. But I was like, I feel like I know Craig well enough to know he probably liked this.
I couldn't look away. It was everything. I want to watch it 3 more times. It was almost the first time ever I watched it twice before we recorded, just because I wanted to do it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was your most rewatchable scene?
I I think the argument between, is it Houseman and Caan while the tree burning is happening, that going back and forth is really electric. And that whole party, I think the whole party scene is the most interesting part of the movie. But also, I mean, the stunts are unbelievable. I can't believe that they're doing that to these actors back then, these stunt actors. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the music at the top and the bottom, the Bach. I mean, the whole thing is just, it's so original and unique. And it's like, I love when a director just has his hands all over something. And if there's stuff that people don't like, I kind of don't care. I'm like, at least he just did whatever the fuck he wanted.
So are you mad we waited 7 years to do this movie?
I mean, I couldn't have been mad because I barely knew it existed. But I have a couple nits, I will say.
Let's hear it.
Genuinely the worst jerseys and helmets I've ever seen in a sport.
Yeah, that was mid-70s though.
I mean,
it's like if you go back to that era, we just lost the narrative with the way stuff looked.
But that's what they thought jerseys would look like in 2008, 50 years in the future, and that's what they gave them?
It was just this weird concept of, Koppelman can attest, like the font that we thought was going to be in the future was that specific, like weird font, like very like simplistic.
Horrible.
Terrible.
It looked like high school warm-up football jerseys. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's a good call. What else did you have?
None of the actual guys look like athletes. They look like mechanics. I mean, what are we doing here? These look like a bunch of normal dudes. I guess James Caan is in shape.
You're making the J.J. Redick, Bob Cousy argument?
These guys don't look like the premier athletes of the world in 2018.
I swear I had that written down and I forgot to say it. I noticed that there's that shot in the locker room. And
there's
none of them
four
look
guys
like,
who look like Louis C.K. back there. I don't know what we're doing.
Well, but I wondered, did they do that because they couldn't get anybody to do rollerball? Or because then at one point they have the weight training scene and one guy is basically doing this 1984 gymnastics routine on the parallel bars. But yet all these guys look like plumbers, electricians, as Craig said. So I don't know what they were going for with that.
Also, man, like back then, men just looked different. James Caan in this movie was 4 years older than I am right now.
Was he really?
He's 35.
You could have told me he was 50,
100%.
22. You could have given me any age.
I
would
have easily guessed 45.
Do you agree with me that nobody has ever looked better in a sleeveless white t-shirt than James Caan?
Yeah,
like it's something about his shoulders.
Men don't look like that anymore.
No.
Nah. Yeah,
no, you know who looks like, sometimes you'll get the random little boy that looks like that. You'll see like the 3-year-old boy at a party that's built like James Caan.
What's that?
But nobody ever ages into it as an adult.
I didn't anticipate this going there. I
was going to say, what 3-year-old boy at a party are you seeing?
No, my son, when he was like 3, kind of had one of those James Caan bodies for a little bit, but they have, you know what I mean? Like those really muscly little kids.
Like they have like the T build, like the Michael Phelps T build.
We used to joke that my son looked like a 1760s blacksmith.
That's hilarious.
He would just walk around. He had this like hard pot belly and was just walking around like Fred Flintstone.
I was going to make the joke that we should do the Lloyd Howell Jr. NFLPA for worst league rep award for whoever the fuck was running. Whoever was running rollerball.
That's a good one. What'd you think of the 70s babes?
Great. Women don't look like that either, man.
But it's like a specific look, and I don't know what it was, but I know it's when you see it kind of look.
Middle part, long, feathery hair, kind of like coming out. They look like Sharon Tate a little bit. It's like this
blue eyeshadow.
It's just a version. It's a version of Michelle Pfeiffer's Scarface thing, which was later.
Yeah, that was like the tail end of it. Yeah. It's really Charlie's Angels. Like if you go, you could click at any mid-70s, Charlie's Angels, Vegas, Three's Company, it's just this look, and then it just disappeared. Not sure what happened. So, Craig, would you have played a rollerball video game?
Absolutely. I still would.
Yeah, this is some of the best IP nobody's taken.
It really is.
Of.
I have not seen the remake. I won't watch it, but it's been long enough. I think somebody could revive this, and it's so relevant now. I mean, man.
Rollerball Fantasy League would have been interesting.
Sure. Imagine if
you would have had swoops, you would have had assists, you would have had goals, you would have had takeouts.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry and rollerball, unstoppable.
A problem is we only know one player's name, really. And the other guy's name, we knew he's dead. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's like Rollerball 3 where like the Rich Paul character comes in and trying to get everybody paid more. All right, Craig, so happy you like this movie.
Man.
This was produced by Craig, as always. Thanks to Ronak as well. And thanks to Gahao for getting us on the Zoom. Thanks to Koppelman. Great to see you. It's been a couple years for you in the Rewatchables.
So happy to be back.
Anything to plug? Got any plugs?
No, stuff's coming. But nothing to talk about yet, but happy to be back for time number 7 on the Rewatchables. And we got to do a quiz show someday. That's the one I'm holding out.
Yeah,
Quiz
you're
show.
doing it in LA.
Yeah, I'll be there for it.
We'll do that together. And then
and-
Rounders 2, I'm just going to be dead before it comes out.
I mean, you'll be in if it ever. You know as much about it as I do. We've talked. How many hours have you and I spent talking about it with Levine? Enough.
Every time we do a podcast, we mention it.
Enough time.
Craig's ready for it.
Okay, we're all in.
All right. Great to see you guys. Thank you.
Great seeing you guys.